Good morning. It's the 1st of March. The weather's nice if the rain stops, and so I hope you have a wonderful day. Today we're going to follow up on that text I read yesterday in worship, Matthew 4, 1 through 11, the temptation stories. And there in the first temptation, we see the tempter or the devil tempting Jesus after he has been in the desert wilderness a long, long time, praying. He's very hungry, and the devil comes to him and says, "Oh, just turn these stones into bread. No worries, eat." Think of those stones as big, round, brownish rocks. They look like loaves of bread fresh out of the oven. And that's what Jesus is looking at and thinking, oh, I could make bread and eat one of those. Here's the thing. Jesus comes to earth as a human being and lives as one of us. So he is subject to the same rules and laws and practices that we are. And so for Jesus to sort of step out of that line and use his power to sort of magically transform stones into bread would be not to live under those rules and laws that we are subject to, because we can't do that. And so if he did that, he's no longer really one of us. That's the first problem. His answer to the devil is, one shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes from the mouth of God. He doesn't say, don't eat bread. He says you can't only live depending on bread that you can get. You shall not live by bread alone, which I think means that you need something more to fulfill yourself, and that is you need to depend on God and God's word, God's teaching, God's direction, God's action. There's some problems that come up. One is that we can't just say, well, okay, I won't eat bread, because we have to eat. If we want to sustain our lives, we need bread. And the second thing is, for us in our society, we have way more bread than we can ever eat. We have way more stuff than we need. And so then we have to ask ourselves, well, what does a human being need? You know, we're not called to sell our homes and move into mud huts with, a cup of rice every day, like somebody in some country. We live here in this society, and this society is based on a consumerist model that urges us to have more and more and more. And so those are some of the things we're going to look at this week. We're not supposed to live seeking more of everything, but how do we live? And how do we follow Jesus in this society, which is addicted to more bread? You can't live by bread alone. You have to have cake and donuts and cinnamon rolls. Those are all problems, and we'll look at some of those this week. For now, keep the faith, and we'll see you tomorrow.